Welcome to CPG Vibes. No script, just chat. We talk all things food and beverage and so much more. Feel our vibe and search for CPG Vibes on Apple Podcast or Spotify, and make sure to give us a 5-star review. If you'd like to sponsor our show with your product or service or be a guest, email us at cpgvibes100@gmail.com. Now your hosts, me, Alex Bear with Genius Juice, and Wade Yenny. All right, welcome to episode 61 of CPG Vibes. I have to think about that one for a few episodes as we get used to our brand new title of our show. And thank you, everyone, for helping us to come up with a name and make a final selection. I'm pretty excited about it. How about you, Wade?
How's it going, Alex? Yeah, definitely
good.
excited. You know, I was wondering if you're going to say episode 1 or episode 61. So they both work. But yeah, it's kind of cool. You know, we got a name that kind of suits who we are and what we do, and it's a new beginning, kind of, sort of, right?
It is. It's like a rebirth. We felt very strongly that we want to really double down on supporting the CPG community. Friday Vibes was originally, the original name was because we have it every Friday, but then sometimes we'd have it Thursday. Sometimes we'd have it maybe on a Tuesday, Wednesday, live at Expo West, definitely not on a Friday. So we doubled down on supporting everyone here in the CPG community. And now people can find us on Apple Podcast if they're into CPG. You don't have to be an SEO expert to know that helps us, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So some laundry list items, if you'd like to, now our email has changed, right? It's CPG Vibes, plural, 100. So everything's the same, except it's CPG now instead of Friday. So CPG Vibes 100, the number 100 at gmail.com. If you'd like to sponsor our show, if you would like to be a guest on our show or apply to be a guest, it's not guaranteed, but there is a chance. Like they say in Dumb and Dumber. Then make sure to reach out to us, again, cpgvibes100 at gmail.com. And also 5 stars, we are at 79. 79. I mean, I never thought my wildest dreams would have, besides you and me, we had 2 between the two of us. I didn't think we'd get to 3, and now we're at 79. It's pretty cool.
We're rapidly approaching 100. Rapidly.
Yep.
And you know what? I've got a laundry list item, and this is
Sure.
This is something that's fun, but I'm kind of serious about it now. So I posted just a little bit ago. My good friend Tyler over at Dano's, right? He posted a little video that was really kind of cool with this holster thing, and he's giving away one of those leather holsters that's been autographed by Dano himself, right?
Oh, wow.
And whoever got the most reactions to their comment on that little video he did. And up until about, 6 hours or so ago, I was winning. And someone playfully put it on a Slack channel and got all of his coworkers to go in there and like his comment. So now he's ahead of me. So I'm going to put this link up here now. What I'm asking everyone that's tuned in right now to do is go to this link, find my comment, and like my comment, because I need to win this thing just on principle now, because I was fair and square ahead without asking the masses to do this. But now that, he's opened it up to all of his coworkers, I need some help. So I'm asking all my good friends here to do that for me. I put the link there, go down in the comments, find my comment on this post, which, selfishly, I think is the best comment, and give it a like so that I can jump ahead of this guy. Let's show him what CPG Vibes is all about.
Yeah, let's support Wade to win this, because we're all in this together, the CPG community. All right, so without further ado here, I know we have some comments to get through. We're going to bring this gentleman on, really good friend, and then we're going to go through some comments before we get into his story, because we want to shout everyone out, because that's what we're all about. We love you guys and gals. We want to make sure your voices are heard. There's no script, just chat. I don't go through this paragraph of describing, on a piece of paper, here's his product. He launched in 2000 this and that, and now he's in 5 million stores, including, in Finland last week. I'm not going to go through a script. I'm just going to say this guy is amazing. I love this guy. I always we give each other a big hug every time we see each other in person. He's a grinder. He has a great product, which is called the name of the brand and company is Dream Pops. And he has multiple product lines. He has the original Dream Pops, the popsicles. He has the Dream Bites, which are the little bites, kind of like the nibs. And he also has, what are they called? The shelf stable ones, just the Dream. He'll tell us more about it. So I don't want to screw it up here, but he's a great guy. His name is David Greenfeld. He's the founder and CEO of Dream Pops, and he goes by DG. And here he is. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, guys?
What's up, DG?
So pumped to be here. Love the comments. Shout out to Gavin, Monica, Stephanie. Guys, thanks so much for having me. I've been tuning in and just I'm fired up to be here. So
thanks for joining us. And before we get into the comments, our viewers are pretty astute that we noticed that your background, while it could be your home, it looks like it's not. It looks like something else. So what is going on right now?
Yes, I'm in Vancouver for the CHFA. It's kind of like it's CHFA West. It's like the Expo East of Canada. It's a smaller show up in Canada. They have CHFA West and CHFA East, which is in Toronto. It's an awesome show. We won the launch pad in Toronto in the fall and actually got a complimentary booth here. Big fan of the Canadian market. It's been a lot of fun growing the business up here, and I think it's there need to be more U.S. brands that take advantage of the Canadian market. And just excited to be up here promoting with Dom Melnicki, our VP of Sales, and pumped to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, I could definitely see this type of product doing well. And, it's already been in Canada, right? How many stores are you in Canada currently?
About 2,000 up in Canada.
Wow. I didn't know there were that many stores in Canada. It's a semi joke because I know it's like there's not as many stores. So you must be really getting in there to a lot of locations.
There's like some like the higher end concentration. You got Loblaws, Sobeys, Save-On, Whole Foods Canada, Walmart, Costco, 7-Eleven Canada. There's a lot of chains out here. But I would definitely say there's like an 80-20 split. You need to have like the top 5 to 10 chains to really move the needle, to make it really worthwhile in terms of all the logistics challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the packaging too, right? It has to have be in French as well, right?
Yeah. And that's a bit complicated, but as long as your co-man or manufacturer you can do smaller runs of a French and English translation, then it's worth doing. But every category is different, and there's some products that probably don't make as much sense shipping up here.
Yep, makes sense. All right, well, let's go into some comments here, and some of these comments are already, being directed to DG here. So we'll go through it really quickly. We're going to try our hardest to get to everyone here. We got Dima Mararu with Guru Energy. Big fan here. David, bi-weekly here in Canada. Boom. There you go.
Love it. Love Guru Energy.
Kenny Hausman, happy Aloha Friday, y'all. And you're in Hawaii, right? Because I figure with Unify, you're in Hawaii.
Yep.
All right. So we have Monica Watrous. Woot woot. Happy Friday. Hank Watt, I got the Nature's Wild Berry and a nice little kind of acrylic packaging. It was really fancy. It was like I thought it was a watch when I took it out of the package. It was a clear kind of plasticky but very high end. So thank you for sending that, buddy. Hey, Wade, Scott, Kenny, Dima. All right, let's keep going. CPG Vibes. Thank you very much. We got Adina Vikman Miskovich. Okay, I've been practicing my European naming pronunciation.
Nicely
Happy Friday. I mean, we're all from Europe, right? I mean, so a lot of us are, I should say. So it's in us somewhere. Let's keep going. Hank Watt, first ever CPG Vibes. Kenny, what's going on? Hank, Stephanie Hui. Hello, Alex Bear Wadiani. Welcome, David Greenfeld. She is an enormous fan of your product, as you know.
Stephanie's the best.
She pushes it. That Whole Foods in Ventura Hill must be pumping volume when she's there promoting it.
She's incredible on the ground up in Northern California and has been a day one supporter. So thank you, Stephanie.
Gavin Conkle, what up, Vibers? Gavin, I'll get back to your text. You had some questions for me. I get back to you, but I have usually a 72-hour waiting period before I respond to your text messages. I do background checks.
The important thing is, did you wish him happy birthday?
Is it his birthday today?
No, it was yesterday.
yesterday. I did not.
I did, Gavin.
Damn
Gavin,
it.
give me points for that. Come on.
Happy birthday, Gavin.
Yeah, happy belated, my man. All right, so Rich Moniz, hi all. Thank you for the tumbler. I don't have it with me right now. That'd be convenient. He does though. Rich insights.
Nice.
I just, these tumblers are not cheap, by the way. If you go to Yeti and you customize it, it's like $50 plus. So they are not cheap. They're good. Couple more here. Just want to get back on the story with DG. Victoria Walling, hello back to you. And then Jeannie Gregory just got back from Vegas. Glad to make it back in time for Friday Vibes, CPG Vibes now, but you can call it Friday Vibes. We'll let you do that. Kenny, wearing my Friday Vibes shirt, but I guess it's considered vintage now. So we actually gave away 20 Friday Vibes t-shirts, DG at Expo, and they are now considered a collector's
Yeah, I was
item.
going to say collector's edition.
Yeah, it's like I have this, not to sound morbid, but I have right here a drum head from a Metallica concert with all 4 members, James Hetfield, Kirk Hammett, Rob Trujillo, and Lars Ulrich, that signed it. And I said to my friend, should I sell it now? And he's like, wait until one of them passes away, then sell it. I'm like, okay. So Friday Vibes, we discontinued Friday Vibes. That shirt is worth a lot more money now. Couple more. There's a lot of comments here. Stephanie, we Dream Pops Bites. There's a couple LinkedIn users. That's a great start. Gavin Conkle, remember meeting David for the first time at Expo East 2019. Love the product then and love what he's done since. And Andy
Appreciate
Kurtz.
you, Gavin. Thank you.
Dream Pops launched with really different product shapes like gems. Has that mold changed as you've scaled? I've been talking a lot. Let's go to that question and back to you, DG.
Yeah, so our first product was the geometric popsicle. It's actually called a dodecahedron. That shape still has remained completely intact. We use metallic molds and liquid nitrogen to flash freeze the product. We have scaled that and maintained those shapes. I think, Andy, what you're referring to is our bites. When we first launched, we were actually hand making these really geometric bite products, and tough learning lesson as you scale. It's one thing to make a product that is stunning and beautiful and design driven. It's another to find something commercially viable that you can make hundreds of thousands or millions of units and have margin on. And so we had to find new ways to commercially scale that product. It still is a bit of a gem, but it's not quite the same molding process. And that decision, while it was pretty challenging, part of me felt like we were killing the integrity of the company in the early days. It was a mandatory shift. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to remain in business. So those compromises, I think, are essential if you want to really be able to scale.
Yep, exactly. I kind of because I thought of that when I first got it. I'm like, oh, the shape has changed. But then knowing this business, I'm like, I know how freaking hard it is to make that shape consistently. So what's on the front of the package? Does it show the new shape or the old shape?
Yeah, so it has the newer iteration of the shape. We have old packaging that has that really geometric product. If you look at all the new packaging, it is the new, still a gem, but more rectangular as opposed to truly geometric. But there's some packaging still in market. I don't know. I think a common misconception in CPG is that when you put something out, it's perfect. Products are constantly changing, as is packaging, right? And so, being flexible and realizing that, you can make those tweaks and adjustments as you're growing, I think was an important learning lesson for me.
Got it. Are you doing all your own manufacturing currently, or is it co-packer?
So it varies. I would call it hybrid manufacturing. So it's still very challenging to make those geometric bite or just the gems that we have currently. So we buy enrobers or cooling tunnels or pieces of equipment, put them in existing infrastructure, and then have exclusivity on those lines. So it is our own manufacturing, but we aren't there. We have partners who are actually doing the manufacturing.
Got it. Only other question I have is, how hard was this to start, to innovate something like this, the shapes on a popsicle stick, innovating the flavors? How much planning went into this before you launched? That's my first question. The second is, how did you come up with the idea, which you've been asked a million times?
Yeah. it's not for the faint of heart. Like, it's taken us 6.5 years to even get to this point, which is where I finally feel like we can really scale the business. In the early days, we were making these popsicles with molds in my mom's kitchen. We then were in a 150 square foot facility in downtown LA, which then became a 300 square foot facility, then 700, then 1,000. At one point, we had 16 people in a room, myself included, making these by hand, packing them, palletizing them, and sending it to distributors. And then realized that we couldn't, like, I feel like our team is really where we're strong is sales, marketing, and building a brand. And so we had to find partners that could do that for us. And we were lucky to meet a few groups that were willing to take this on and help us really commercialize it. Back to your question, Alex, I have been a diehard Dippin' Dots fan since day one. I also love CPG products that the product without the packaging. I feel like there's few iconic brands, Hershey's Kisses, Dippin' Dots, Oreos. There's certain products that don't require packaging to know what they are. And that was kind of the aha moment with the popsicle. And, now with the bites in some respects, can we start with a product that the geometry has kind of a brand in and of itself, and then build around that futuristic geometric lens. And so that's really that inspiration. It felt I didn't invent that pop. A food scientist did. We ended up, partnering with them to bring it to the States from Europe, and then, took that IP and scaled it here.
That's great. So I had a couple of questions, DG, that I wanted to talk. Obviously I brought you in Southern California when I was there, and we've been working together since then, and wanted to ask and share what you're comfortable with sharing with regards to, you started with this concept for Dream Pops, the unique geometry you mentioned, and the stick, and a healthy popsicle, if you will, and so and then the expansion into the bites. And now you're shelf stable. So the first question I have is, like, your percentage of sales. I know what I witnessed firsthand is when the bites came out, they just went crazy, right? I mean, it was just bonkers. They were off the charts and surpassed your flagship almost right off the jump. And now with the shelf stable, I'm kind of curious is what your mix is. And again, just share what you're comfortable with as far as that goes. But what's your mix look like now of the different product lines that you have?
Yeah, I call it a 70-30 bites to pops. And the candy is actually rolling into retail, like, as we speak, April, May, June. So I'll give you an update there. I'm really pumped to have a product that doesn't need to be in the freezer and that can sit out shelf stable, that you could, have end caps and really have a lot of fun with shippers and merchandising. So I also think, I like what True Fruit's done with their shelf stable and frozen. So it's a big bet, like, huge risk. Right. It's new buyers, new supply chain, different manufacturer. But just bullish that I think we built a brand that can hang and, in that set, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, I hope that I'd love to displace the frozen bites as well with that proportion.
So you brought up an interesting point there with the differences. You have different buyers now, right? And so talk to us a little bit about that. What has that been like as far as, obviously you've been working, for years now with the frozen aspect and those buyers, and obviously you're well established and have those contacts. So are you kind of knocking on those doors and saying, hey, can you introduce me to the candy buyer? Or are you just kind of starting all from square one, cold calling and trying to get in? How does that look with your retail play on the shelf stable product?
Yes. So when possible, absolutely. With shelf stable, we've definitely looked to attack more regional grocers and independents, the smaller, 10 to 20 store chains, who oftentimes the frozen buyer is the candy buyer. And so being able to just leverage the trust to extend into a shelf stable product is one. And then if a frozen buyer can make an introduction, what we have noticed is they're like, wow, this is a brand in frozen that's been growing year over year. There's a new offering. We'll go nudge the candy buyer and see if there's interest in taking a meeting. But the other thing I'd say is we introduced the Crunch almost a year ago, right? And we had some manufacturing challenges in getting it to scale and hitting the margins we needed. And so we've taken our time, if you will, instead of just blitz scaling it when we weren't ready for the market. And so spent the last year developing those relationships. The other interesting thing about candy versus ice cream is that the selling cycle for candy is kind of opposite ice cream, which is nice because then you're always selling. And that's kind of a beautiful yin and yang to the ice cream and chocolate.
Right.
With the crunch, which is the name that escaped me when I was introducing your product lines, are you looking at more of a C store, grab and go, smaller store format strategy versus, going into big grocery where you're in a aisle and a sea of different candy bars?
So started on D2C and Amazon, and now we'll be approaching the more regional grocers. The Gelson's, Bristol Farms, Erewhon, Lassen's,
Specialty.
Cinderella, Specialty, exactly. And then being careful and really selective with where we put a larger rollout in. We're only launching with 2 SKUs in retail. Want to pick, comb through the data, see what's working, see what's not working, and then make broader bets. We did the same thing with frozen bites. So you start in 100 to 200 stores, you look at the data, you take your time, and then you make a bet on the larger format stores. Makes
sense. Yeah, I think that's a really great way to do it, and very, I guess meticulous is a word for it, but very careful to roll it out in the right way versus just leveraging your relationships and saying, "Oh, we're just going to launch in 3,000 doors with this and see how it does." I've seen brands that have ended because of that. They just lose so much money that it sinks the entire one hole in the ship, sinks the entire ship. So I think that's really, really smart. And then I want to go to the D2C side with all this. So were you doing D2C before with your Dream Pops and Bites, or is this kind of a first foray with the Crunch?
2018, we launched D2C frozen for 3 months. And then after 3 months, realized there was no way we were going to be able to make money on it. So we turned it off and pivoted into retail, and then went into Erewhon, Jimbo's, Bristol Farms, and running the numbers. We wanted to be the daily harvest of ice cream, and we just didn't think that we could ever get there unless we raised tens of millions of hundreds of millions of dollars maybe. And so we decided to pocket, or to literally just turn off D2C in its entirety, which wasn't a very popular decision in 2018 or 19 with investors and with other folks who were not doing that. They were putting a lot of money into Facebook and Instagram. Mm-hmm. Now, I see it as a marketing channel. I think if you can do it profitably or break even, fantastic. But I don't think D2C will be 30, 40, 50%. I think maybe it could be 10%. What I am very bullish on is GoPuff, Instacart, DoorDash with the Dash Marts, Last Mile. I think it's just all different channels for building a brand. Yeah, I think that's really, really smart. Yeah, because we found out at Genius Juice, even with refrigerated, extremely hard, and we had to do it with Shark Tank, you cannot go online, and we knew that the margins would be really, really slim. And if you offer discounts, right, and all the Amazon fees, you could actually be losing money, right, on every single unit. So we had the same philosophy, and still to this day, which is it's a marketing strategy to get people aware of the product and then pushing them to the stores. So that's great. So with the Crunch item, this is now you're using GoPuff and all these other ones. Is this going to be on your website as a direct purchase as well? Yeah, so it was for a limited time. We sold out of our first run, but come May, we'll have our Vanilla Sky and Cookie Dough Crunch available for D2C purchase on our website, on Amazon, and then in select retailers. Cool. Nice. All right, I want to reset the room here really quickly, and then I know Wade may have some other additional comments or questions, but I just want to make sure we get to everyone, and there's also some questions. But to reset the room, we have David Greenfeld, DG, we call him, and he is the founder and CEO of Dream Pops, and they also have Dream Bites and now Dream Crunch. Is that correct? Dream Crunch? That's right. Yeah. And this is episode 61. First time we're calling it CPG Vibes instead of Friday Vibes. So we're adjusting to it, and it looks like I think people are settling in. They're getting used to it pretty quickly. So some comments that we have. I think there was one from Michael Bendos with Quantum Energy Squares. The toll that
I can relate to this so much because like I've been in it for 9.5 years now. I couldn't even believe it. I'm like a quarter of my life on Genius Juice, 10 out of 40 years. The toll that the first 6 years has on you can be taxing. Good for you for not giving up, continuing the journey. And that's like, I want to commend you, man. I mean, for such a hard product, like Frozen. The good news is, well, the bad news is it's hard. The good news is it's hard because not many people attempt it, right? So if you really succeed at it, you'll be standing with a very elite group of brands that are in the frozen section, and you were able to pull it off, raise some capital, and then scale it and find, and figure out how to scale the manufacturing, most importantly. So, man, hats off to you, DG, for getting that done and still being here and growing in such a costly category, high velocity, but costly, right?
I appreciate it, Alex. What I will say is like one day at a time, we definitely aren't there yet.
Yeah.
But I think that there is a survival mentality for the next 12 to 18 months for everyone, and just a reassessment of priorities. And I think just being in business in 12 months is a competitive advantage
Yes.
for everyone. So
yeah, I mean, Doozy Pots just closed their doors. And they weren't like this enormous brand, but they were a natural emerging brand, similar boat to all of us, right? Like sub 20 million, looking to grow, getting into more stores. And I know that Doozy Pots launched in some new retailers just half a year ago or a year ago. And then there was the LinkedIn post from Kirsten Sataria that they closed their doors. So you're definitely right where the mentality, like it's good to grow, but you got to have everything, all the economics and financials in order to grow. And like if you're growing without the foundation of great margin and profit, or at least a pathway to profitability, you're growing into bankruptcy, right?
Well, that's the hardest part is like, unfortunately in the VC community investor world, you need growth, but you need margin improvement. And,
Yeah.
Yes, everyone is preaching profitability, but if you pull off growth levers to get to profitability and then you're flat, that's also not, I mean, it's good, but it's not what they're looking for. Right. So
Right.
It's this paradox that operators are constantly fighting. Am I pulling growth levers? Am I ready for that? Am I removing brokers or cutting costs so that I can be profitable? There's no right answer.
I wanted one comment real quick, Wade, and then we'll go to you because I saw your about. I have to ask this because this is such valuable insight. What do you do? Because we go through that at Genius Juice where we're cutting promotions. We've had to let go of some salespeople and merchandisers. So we lose some space in the stores. We still have the Whole Foods Venices of the world that still move product because it's Whole Foods Venice, but Whole Foods, Riverside may not move as well because we have no one visiting those stores. How do you balance cutting budget, making sure to survive, and growth? Like, what are some organic strategies that you found that works?
Yeah, and I'll give a shout out to Natalie, who's our head of ops, an absolute rock star, and Dom and Philip and Emily and Jorge and just the whole team. We've definitely downsized our team a bit. We're quite lean. We look at profitability by retailer and year-over-year growth by retailer. So or even a break even. Every time we look at a new retailer, there's a break even analysis, right? So it's like, when are we going to make money on this account? Are we ever going to make money on this account based on where things are trending last 52 weeks, last 6 months? Running those analyses and being very careful. Yes, it's great when a 1,000+ store, 500 store chain wants to bring you on and you're looking at, man, that top line is going to make our business look great. But if it's gone in 6 to 12 months and you paid slotting, you're going to be in a worse spot than if you just, riding the ramp. I think there's that. James has a great book, Ride the Ramp.
Mm-hmm.
The best brands, yes, you can have these huge blitz scale businesses that we see and we read about, but I just keep coming back to the best sustainable CPG brands are built over 10 to 15 years. I just, there are exceptions to the rule, but that's the only way that I can really see us doing it. So,
yep.
Sounds good. Excuse me. I kind of had this in my head, and I'll say Gavin, I love you, buddy. This is your birthday present. Great minds think alike. I wanted to talk a little bit about the investment piece because, we know how tough it is right now. And you hear it, money's tight. Things are drying up. And what I wanted to ask, and Gavin's kind of talking about wins and losses when it comes to investors, how hard, how easy, fun, challenging. And then I kind of had a second part of that as far as what did you learn from the frozen side that when you decided to go onto the shelf stable side from a fundraising standpoint, what did you learn from that, that frozen experience that you used when you came up with the shelf stable product?
Yeah, I'll say this is the hardest fundraising climate I've ever seen. I'm an ex-investment banker. I worked at Houlihan and we did M&A, private placements. Like I've seen it on the opposite side of the table. Even businesses that are profitable or showing profitable months are having a tough time raising money. Series A, B, C, later stage fundraising is arguably harder than seed. Pre-revenue seems impossible because people don't want to take risk. If you are raising an A or a B right now, it's the most expensive capital. So my guess it's a down round or it's flatline, or if you're having an up round, then amazing work. But the truth of the matter is, I really empathize for founders out there. I think it's just staying strong, building the business sustainably. When you show real traction and growth and an improvement on margin, you're going to be a lot more appealing to those investors. I think you need to get in front of as many as you possibly can. You need to take more meetings than you might in the past. You need to find patient capital, angels, family offices that might be a little less risk averse, or are not necessarily needing the results to happen on a quarterly basis, but can maybe see it in 6 months or 12 months. And also value add investors that can look at your manufacturing capabilities and tweak something, or your formulation and make an adjustment that'll give you 10 or 20% more margin, or an investor that has a relationship with a retailer that can lean in and change your business. I also think founders that can write 5, 10, 20K checks could theoretically add a lot more value than other investors. And so, sometimes leaning on other founders who are a year or two ahead of you is one of the best strategies.
Exactly. Great. Some other comments here. And then I also want to just put the last one, last in, first out, right? LIFO is crowdfunding, right? And I just did a post on it, not to go down a rabbit hole too much. But crowdfunding is another good, I feel, right, from all the crowdfunding we've done, is a really strong solution that used to be frowned upon like 4 years ago, right? Like 4 years ago, it was like, oh man, you're desperate and you have to raise money online through WeFunder or Republic or through Start Engine. Kickstarter to me is different. It's not really crowdfunding. It's more, it is, but you're not going to be raising a significant amount. But DG, I don't think you guys have crowdfunded, at least not on the major equity platforms or convertible note platforms. But what are your thoughts? I have my thoughts, but welcome to agree or disagree with me. That's what the show is about. Is it a route that you recommend entrepreneurs that need capital to take, or should they just grind it out with angels and family offices?
I think it's a great channel. I loved what you've done, what TBH has done. If there are ways to leverage influencers or creators to get more hype around a campaign, amazing, like should be done. The one thing that concerns me about crowdfunding is just how much information that you need to share with the masses. That's my biggest fear, because it's not that I necessarily care about NDAs when I'm talking to investors, but when you're showing everybody how the entire product's made, where it's made, like when you get really detailed with the masses, a part of me worries that you lose some of your defensibility. That's my only gripe about crowdfunding. Other than that, though, successful campaigns, that capital is fantastic, and why not, right? If it's a viable option.
Exactly. And the post that I did, I decided to do some consultation, right? Just I'm setting aside my entire day of Tuesday, April 4th, and I have 12 meetings back to back to back. It's like 6 hours straight meeting with founders and owners that want to raise online and they just don't know a lot about it, or they're already doing a campaign, they're very early and they want some advice. So I'm definitely here to provide advice and
What are
and
your
support
thoughts on it, Alex and Wade? What do you guys think?
about crowdfunding in general.
Yeah.
I mean, we've raised 3 times on there. The last one was a mini round just for our new Genius Nootropic wellness shots. So that wasn't really meant to be a large round, more of a
Which are
marketing.
incredible, by the way.
Thank you. That's right. I did give you one, didn't I? Yeah.
So
And they
good.
work.
Was it a dark chocolate raspberry?
That was it. That was
So
it.
good. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and it kind of carried you through the show, got some energy.
Dessert, it was like a little dessert shot. I loved it.
Yeah. Most shots just don't taste very good, not, and some of them are not meant to taste good. Like a pure ginger shot is just not going to taste good. We did not want to get into that category of immunity, because God knows it's like me coming out with a,
kombucha.
That's a really good similarity. But yeah, so we want to do something different. We wanted to focus on the mind and cognitive and mental health, because that's really where the country is. We need more of that. And we wanted to be unique. And I think the first mover, we can get into that as well after, but first mover is so freaking important in this business. But not only first mover, you have to be aggressive. You have to hit those accounts really quickly to get in, and you need capital to get there faster. On the crowdfunding side, we've raised over 1.5 million, on crowdfunding. Amazing. Between Republic, WeFunder, and then we did Republic again. We have not been on Start Engine. The things that you mentioned, totally valid and true. It is risky to put your information out there. I mean, you're putting your margins out there. You're putting your projected sales, your customers, not only customers you have now, but customers that you want to get or you're projected to get for the rest of the year. So that is an issue. But with all the issues aside, the crowdfunding websites have become so much easier to organize it, or the crowdfunding platform to organize it on your cap table. That's what I really like, because a lot of founders are like, oh my God, if I raise from 1,000 people, I might have 1,000 people on my cap table. It's all consolidated under one line item, under a custodian account, under Republic or WeFunder. So it makes it a lot easier. The other thing I really like is that they become investors, we call them. If you're a D2C brand, they're going to invest in you, but guess what? You get their email, you get their address, because you need to. They're investors, right? It's required. So you can tap them and say, hey, we got a sale going on. At Genius Juice, we do sales for investors only. All the crowdfunding investors, no one else can get this deal, and they end up buying the product. So someone who invests in you is more likely to support you and buy the product. So it's a great way to boost your D2C. I want to go to the first to market thing. I want to get back to that. When you evaluated this space, right, and you had the aha moment with the Dream Pops and eventually the Dream Bites, were you like, I'm first to market, no one else is really doing it like this, and I need to move really fast? Like, what was kind of your thoughts as you were entering these categories? And is there anyone that has really done these type of geometric shapes like you have done?
Less so with the pops as much as I was feeling that with the bites. It's really hard to make bonbons. Like, there are very few people that can do it at scale. We had to create hybrid manufacturers to do it, right? Because we talked to the co-mans. There wasn't enough line time. Most of the extruders are doing popsicles, are doing pints. Most of the co-mans out there. And so, yes, we launched Vanilla Sky and Berry Dreams Bites in Whole Foods, and it exploded. Like, it was product market fit right away. And I will say, first to market, maybe, but like, I don't really believe anyone's first. I think everything's a remix of something else. We just remixed Dibs, right? Nestle's Dibs. They did it before us. However, we wanted to reimagine those. And so there is an importance of being first to market, getting as much distribution as you can before others, like a Yasso, for example, who launched Yasso Poppables, and they have a lot more distribution. It's a dairy product versus a plant-based, but it can definitely, be challenging when you're trying to move quickly. You only have so much infrastructure and a smaller team, and so you need to move quickly. Back to, overall, the truth is you can't look at everyone else and be so worried every single day. I think you just need to make an amazing product that tastes incredible, focus on building a great brand, and just, improving margin. And eventually, like, if you move at as fast as you can without breaking anything, then I think you'll be in a good spot.
So DG, one of the things I wanted to talk a little bit about was, outside the investment piece we already talked about, but talking about what you've learned from your pitch, because I assume you're still doing quite a bit of that yourself. I mean, I know you have a sales team, but I know you still do pitches yourself. So how has your pitch changed over the years? Like, what are you doing now that you didn't do prior? And talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, and then I will shout out Dom, who is on every pitch now, and I've had to take a step back because I get my hands too dirty, and we have amazing teammates that's something that I'm really trying to focus on. But in the meetings that I'm in with Dom, instead of we're really niche, we were plant-based popsicles. Now we're a plant-based confection business. We want to be the Willy Wonka of plant-based, better for you indulgence. I think in the early days, we were focused on being, call it bad, better, best. We want it to be best. We had mango rosemary popsicles. We had chocolate and lion's mane popsicles. We wanted, more ultra premium. We've now moved from best to better. And, we are a better for you dessert and indulgence. We're not the healthiest. We're not the most functional. We're at an affordable price point. And that's been an important mindset shift. Separately is data. Spins data is really important, and showing you can be really passionate when you're sub 100 stores, that you have to sell the dream and you have to be really passionate to get those wins. But now it's like, who are my comps? Who am I up against on this set? Why am I going to put up more units per store per week per SKU? What trends are affecting that? What's plant-based novelties look like versus dairy novelties versus pints? How is this format performing in similar chains? And what digital strategies are we deploying that others aren't, i.e. TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, Facebook Reels, email campaigns? What are you doing digitally in addition to all of that that's going to make you stand out in such a competitive market?
Yeah, right. I remember something I'm writing down because I want to make sure that I didn't forget is people, we didn't even talk about this, and it's a whole nother rabbit hole, but you were one of the first natural emerging brands that I can remember that launched on TikTok. It was like 2.5, 3 years ago, like right around the pandemic, perhaps maybe before you started doing the groundwork, but it shows you that timing is everything. I'm not an expert on TikTok, disclaimer, but I feel like the party is not over, but people are leaving in general. And I'm not saying people are going to TikTok. It's probably more popular than ever, but from a CPG standpoint on scaling your brand and getting a lot of views and getting a lot of organic purchases, I feel like the ship is leaving the harbor for that, and it's becoming too expensive, right, to justify spending to do paid ads on TikTok or Instagram. My opinion, I'm not an expert.
No, I mean, I agree. It's, I remember when we were first on TikTok, there were no brands on the platform.
Nothing. Yeah.
And Josh Sawyer, shout out to Josh, did an incredible job. Me and him were in a room, and we're like, we're going to do 1 to 3 TikToks a day. And we would get 10,000 new followers a week. We'd have millions of views on every video. Like, I still have snapshots of it. It was crazy. And that just doesn't happen anymore. Even our account, we have 184,000 followers on TikTok, 5.3 million likes, 60 million views on the hashtag DreamPops. And Alex, like, we're getting hundreds, maybe thousands of views, a couple that'll go viral. You have to pay for performance. In the past, you didn't. Mm-hmm. I will say YouTube Shorts and Facebook Reels feels like that right now. So for any listeners, start making content on those 2 platforms.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point where TikTok, you leveraged it and rode that wave organically. Because I remember there was one video that got like millions, and it was like a really short, simple video of like over a kitchen sink with like the sound effect, and so like you leverage that and you have the right timing. And now you're moving to other platforms, which now the timing is there. Very interesting. Very interesting.
We reposted that same video 10 times and it got at least 1 million every single time. Like, that doesn't happen anymore. Yeah, and with this TikTok ban in question, I'm really curious. I think you just have to diversify that digital presence everywhere. I
Yeah.
mean, LinkedIn, what you've both done, what we're doing right now, and
Right.
Sean Berg in the audience, who I think is the GOAT of LinkedIn. I've been watching what he's done. It's on another level. So
Yeah. One really interesting kind of data point that I'll share on here is I won't say who this person is, or the brands. I got to be anonymous and, careful. There's another brand that got an influencer to post about them, and a female, and it was a simple post. She put it on the table. She's like very big in the vegan health community. She's in her 20s, early 30s, I believe. And they got millions of views. She got millions of views, and people went out to the stores to buy the product. It was huge. It took me 4 months to get a hold of her, get the product to her, and get her to do a post. Like me literally messaging her. I didn't have her number, right? Just her email and her TikTok. And she did a post that was very similar to the one that she did for this other brand where it blew up. And her post got like 1,000 views, and it just flopped. So I'm like, same influencer, same amount of followers, same kind of post, two different products, but similar. Ours is premium. This other product was premium. Ours flopped, theirs didn't. And that's where I get confused about TikTok. Like, why did that happen?
it still doesn't make sense to me. And we've posted thousands of videos, Alex. It changes all the time. I don't know why it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, algorithms, perhaps, or who the hell knows.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna reset the room here, and I know Wade, you're big on TikTok, right? You do your.
You know what? I do have a TikTok account. I do
That surpasses my expectations.
But
right
I'm not making TikToks. I'm more of I get a lot of entertainment from it. I mean, I like the the prank stuff. The jackass type stuff. There's some guys playing Madden that it's just entertainment for me. There's guys that do the filters where they're trying to pick the I don't know, to get to 10,000 touchdowns, and just this bunch of garbage that that I'm probably losing brain cells on, but that's okay. It's fun. I get a kick out of it.
Yeah, and you're getting you can't
dance, Wade.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bendos. No one has ever asked me to dance. That's something you do not want to see. That's something you do not want to see.
I can attest to that.
Yes.
So let's go through some comments here just to reset the room because we're running short on time. This is episode 61 of CPG Vibes. We have DG, David Greenfeld, founder and CEO of Dream Pops here. Make sure to go out and buy it in stores across the country, both the US and the other country north of us, which is Canada. Some comments here, and we'll get into your information, your website. We're going to get that at the end. So, and make sure to pay attention to everything we are saying, not only because it's a resource and great to listen to it, but there's going to be a fact somewhere in there that we're going to use for the trivia to win a case of Dream Pops. Okay.
Wow.
A case, like your freezer is going to be Dream Popped. Okay. So you open it and that's all you see. That and maybe frozen fish on the bottom, but don't just ignore that.
Right.
All right. So some comments here. Man, we're so backed up. It's not even funny.
Well, I was going to say, now Alex has been driving today, so I'm not responsible if we're behind on comments.
I really mismanaged this. So there's this whole thing going on between Gavin and Michael and Gavin and Hank. And, so anyway, Alex, very generous. Thank you. I'm going to do that just self-serving. Get that on the berry. Gavin Conkle, Dima got quite a few wins coming up. So I guess Gavin is closing a lot of accounts under True, which he joined recently. Congratulations.
Love that.
Michael Bendos, nobody supports retailers more than up and coming brands. They value the relationships so much more. Hank Watt, TikTok for the win. I'm never on there, man, but a lot of people are. I can't stand it. I like looking at other brands that I love, but as far as like the people and what they do, I'm just like ASMR. Am I going to watch someone, like that whole thing? I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. I'm like, man, this is just getting weird. Have you seen that, DG?
Not that one, but I probably need to.
There's one where like literally people have microphones and they make sounds on the microphone to put you to sleep and relax you. It's called ASMR. I'm like, That's when I knew things were shit's getting weird. Okay, we got Sean Berg, the GOAT. What else here? It's the algorithm man. Michael Bendo's talking about TikTok. Any dance? Any dance. Okay, he's already said no. Michael Bendo's, the people will even take a little shimmy. He really wants to see you dance.
Well,
James
I was going to say, let's just do this again. Maybe if I win this, here's the link again. Yeah. Maybe if I win this Danos contest, I'll do a dance, a celebratory dance. If I win. So go to this post if you haven't already. Click on my comment, hit like, and help me win this contest. Maybe Bendos, I'll do a dance if I win.
Truffle shuffle works too.
I can easily do that.
All right. LinkedIn user, I'd love a case. This is for the winning the contest, the trivia, because Dream Pops is sponsoring us. My daughters would be in heaven. That's Rich Moniz. Make sure to reach out to him too. He does a lot of data insight stuff where, he has like one thing where he puts your product on the shelf with others, like digitally puts it in there if you're like working on a new packaging. And he has several hundred people look at it, and then it tracks where they look on the packaging in order, hierarchy, rich insights. We shout you out even if you're, because we love you. You may not be sponsoring this episode. We've sponsored in the past. We just love what you do. All right, so I think we're going to go to our next section here. I actually caught up, believe it or not. Our next session, I should say, is stuff we love. And I'm going to put the right one on here. Here we go. Is this it? This is it. There it is. All right. So this is where we talk about things that we love, things that's in our pantry or freezer, right? Or refrigerator. So, Wade, I'll pass it to you. Why don't you start?
I can do it. I came prepared this week, believe it or not. And I only grabbed 2. I've got some more in the cupboard. So if you're on here and you sent me something, maybe it's next week. We'll see. But I've got 2. This one, and I have a feeling you might be showing this too, but that's okay because I'm first. I got this. There it is.
So I stole your thunder, I think, last week, right?
Yeah.
I remember showing something, and now you're doing it to me.
So, we can tag team this if you want to, since this is on your list too. You can tell everybody about the product while I hold it if you'd like.
Sure, I would love to. Which one are you holding?
This is the hazelnut butter.
The little like bars, right?
Yes.
Yep. So this company is called Evolve. They've been around a while, for years, and they had like the monkey on the front. That's like how I recognized them for a long time. And they did this massive rebrand where they went to the, kind of the high end looking, and it's shelf stable. And they just have cups with almond butter and with coconut. They're organic, 100%. And then they have very little sugar. They have monk fruit. I like sugar. I like coconut sugar. I like a little hit of that. It doesn't have to be sugary, but I like that little hit. But there are a few that I really like from them, including the brownie batter, which has white chocolate, and also the almond butter cups are really, really good. So thank you for sending these over, and they're going to be a future Keenan
Smith.
Smith.
So just this particular bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ingredients, right? So we've got organic hazelnuts, organic coconut sugar, organic cacao, organic cashews, organic cacao butter, and pink sea salt. Boom, done.
Simple.
Yes. And so, yeah, I've got that. And I'm pretty sure you don't have this one, but I don't know. You might surprise me. I've got this.
That one I got. I got it. I'm not a big fan of tuna.
Oh, I am.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so this is Scout. It's by Scout, and they have a whole bunch of products. And I'll put the link up here in a minute. But these are snacks, right? So you can kind of take this and throw it in your backpack, take it wherever. But it's got a spork, which is, if you haven't been to Taco Bell, it's a combination spoon fork, right? The can of tuna, and it's got a topper. So this one here is a chili crisp with a crunchy topper. It's got yellowfin tuna and olive oil. And it's just, obviously it's a great source of protein. This little guy, right? 30 grams of protein in this guy right here. Wow. 30 grams. I mean, it's just awesome, right? So just a quick snack, very convenient. It's and really, when you think about it, it's it certainly is innovative. The packaging's great. It's not too many people are just going to throw a can of tuna in their backpack, but now they've kind of made it easy for you. So you've got your tuna, you've got something to eat it with, and now you've got a topper on top of it, and you can dump everything in this little guy and eat it. And 30 grams of protein. I don't think I need to tell anybody out there that's not a nutritionist how great that is, right? As far as what it does for your diet. So good stuff, convenient packaging, love it. But yeah, I'll throw the link up here.
Cool. DG, we know you're traveling right now. Do you have anything on you or something that you've recently discovered that you love?
Yeah, I've got something. It's more in the supplement space. Quicksilver Ultra Vitamin. My girlfriend Kaylee has introduced me to this. I take like a teaspoon of it, put it under my tongue for 30 seconds, and I haven't been sick in a few months now. So it's awesome and part of my daily routine.
Nice and perfect for traveling. 2 ounces or less, or did they let you?
3.4 ounces. You can travel with it. Carry on.
Nice. Very nice. Good stuff. What's the name of the brand again?
Quicksilver Scientific.
Quicksilver Scientific, probably on Amazon. So.
Yep, it's on Amazon.
Good stuff. All right. So that's stuff we love. And now we're going to get to our next segment. I don't know if we'll rename this, Wade. That's the next order of business. This is called Friday Freebies, but it could land on a Thursday at some point. We'll have to, that's going to be our next project. Friday Freebies.
Friday Freebies.
All right. So as mentioned, want to first shout out our permanent sponsor, which is V-Driven. So we'll do a quick shout out for them. And then we have our this week's sponsor, which is Dream Pops with Sir DG. I'm sure you're going to be knighted at some point, man. It's going to happen. Once Dream Pops go to UK, it's over. Like, I'm going to see you at the Buckingham Palace, just partying with the Queen or the royalty family, I should say, with Dream Pops. I can see that happening. That's going to be a nice TikTok.
Yes.
So our permanent sponsor is V-Driven. I'll go through V-Driven, Wade, and then you can go through Dream Pops.
Yep.
V-Driven, Luke Abbott, there is a CPG partner for emerging purpose-driven brands. We fuel growth. They fuel growth and innovation by providing strategies and support in every phase of the retail journey, from leadership coaching, brand management, accounting, sales strategy, day-to-day tactical support, trade spend deductions, right? We're all going through that crap. And how do we actually make sure nothing's erroneous? They help with all that. They're just a great organization. They help in sales and ops, whatever you need help with, and you don't have a full-time staff. They can provide that for you at a big discount from what you'd pay a full-time ops person. VDriven.com. That's V as in velocity, driven.com. I see someone in the background there. And Luke.Abbott, Luke, like Luke Skywalker, I think. Luke.Abbott at VDriven.com.
All right. So that brings me to Dream Pops. And so I got my little plug here, and I probably could pawn this off on DG, but I'll do it. Dream Pops was founded in 2018 on a mission to reinvigorate the dessert category with plant-based products that accurately reflect the needs of the 21st century consumer. They were fed up with the never-ending ingredient lists and marginal innovation from dated legacy brands that were our childhood favorites. They believe these brands will lose market share and fade into irrelevance as consumers wise up and continue to invest in their health and well-being. They're a plant-based innovation engine targeting the confectionery industry. www.dreampops.com. And as we already mentioned earlier, the prize is 1 case of Dream Pop Bites. It's 12 cups. It's over a $70 value. And if you haven't had them, you should, because they're delicious. So great stuff. DG, anything to add on that before we go to the question?
No, that was perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. It's almost like you wrote that or someone on your team did.
Inspired.
Almost, right?
Almost.
All right. So we come up with a question, right? We like to first give you right of first refusal, DG, which we're talking investment terms here. Yeah. So if you have a question that is honestly difficult, that we talked about during this show, a fact, something you mentioned in passing, or I mentioned, or Wade mentioned, you can come up with it. If you can't think of one, then Wade and I will have the second right and third of refusal.
My question is for the next guest.
This is for the community, everyone on here. And if they guess it correctly, they will win your prize.
Something we talked about during the episode. It can be anything we talked about from start to finish, that they have to answer.
Yeah, but it's got to be hard. It's not hard. Your prize can never be a gimme. They got to work for it.
What's the one flavor I mentioned that was in the best category of popsicles that no longer exists today?
I freaking wrote that down as the question.
Really?
Yep.
And I think I could get this, but that's okay.
Monica, that was a great comment too.
I love that. Decadehot. How do you pronounce it?
It's a dodecahedron.
Dodecahedron. A shape, right? A shape?
Yes. Just since Monica remembered that, she should win.
And spelled it correctly, right? So we have some answers coming in. I know one of them, but I don't know the others.
I know them both.
It is not orange creamsicle. It is not matcha.
This is the original flavor, right?
Can I give a hint?
Sure.
Well, give them. I was going to say give them a minute because there's usually a delay. But maybe we might need to.
Yeah, they're listing your more current flavors that are on the market right now. I remember this one too. The one like the answer. I tried it actually.
See, I
not Lion's Mane, not Chocolate Lion. That's another one, but the other one is the one that we were thinking of.
And it's not on the market anymore.
He
right?
mentioned two back to back, right?
Mm-hmm. The second one I mentioned was Chocolate Lion. That's still on the market. The first one is yellow.
Yep.
There you go.
That's a clue. So this is one that is no longer on the market. You have to have been paying attention, plus know what is on the shelf. LinkedIn user.
I'm looking to see who it is. That is, I hate it when it does that.
I can't even find it yet. There it is. Keenan Smith. It's Keenan Smith.
Nice.
Evolved.
Let's go, Keenan.
Nice.
Yeah, he deserves. Man, for all the product he sent us, and he's getting some product back. So
there you go. See, you give and you get, Keenan.
Exactly. I remember trying that product when it first came to my local Whole Foods, and because I was having the chocolate lion's mane all the time, I'm like, let me try mango rosemary because it's so out there that I'm sure it tastes good. Like they figured out how to make that combination, and it was good. But
it actually was one of my it was one of my favorite popsicles. It's just rosemary probably scared most customers. So.
Yeah, they're just weren't ready for the future, right? Maybe you'll make a comeback. Who knows?
Well, and I was going to say, so speaking of which, coincidentally, we plugged Keenan and Evolved. He won today, and he's coming up in early May as a sponsor. So that's see how that all works. It's just this circle, right? It's all one big happy community. So
exactly. So I also wanted to mention just some future sponsors and guests before we check out for the evening and coast into our hopefully rainless weekend, DG, because it's been crazy here, as you know.
Do you know why it doesn't matter if it rains this weekend, Alex? And you know what, you of all people, because of where you're at, you know what you should be doing this weekend? It only happens once a year.
April 1st.
April Fools.
That's a good answer, but no. Well, it does happen tomorrow. It's
March Madness
and
or something.
Better. WrestleMania. And it's in LA.
I saw the billboards for it.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, it's and I think I don't know how many years it's been 2 or 3 years now. It's 2 nights. It used to be one night, and it's Saturday and Sunday both. So
wow,
monstrous event in anywhere around that area is going to be crazy, I'm sure, because it brings in 70,000 plus fans. So it's going to be bonkers in LA if you're a wrestling fan.
Wow, this is the time that you wish you were still in San Diego, right?
I would be there if I was in California. I would be there for sure.
I know you'd be lined up with Bilal, right?
Bilal and I, but yeah, I was going to say, absolutely. Bilal would be there. Yeah, absolutely.
He'll be giving you whatever, over the head chair
So
hits.
I'm jumping ahead, but yeah, normally we ask what we're doing this weekend. I will be glued to the TV tomorrow and Sunday on Peacock watching WrestleMania because that's my jam. So
cool.
Love that.
I'm golfing tomorrow at Los Verdes with my wife. We haven't golfed together in a year and a half because eventually when she was pregnant enough where she couldn't go out and golf anymore, she stopped golfing, and now our son is here and we have some time to ourselves, and parents taking care of our son. We're going to go out for the first time in a year and a half in golf. So that's us. DG, how about you?
I will be at the CHFA trade show tomorrow and Sunday. So if anyone's in Vancouver, come on by for some ice cream.
Love it. Some future sponsors. We have Seedly next week. That's Mateen. We have Chubby Snacks the week after, and Dylan's going to be a guest on 4/14. We have Adam Brown coming up. We have Tom Malingo coming up from Banjectory. We have Tyler Watson and Dano's for Dano's Seasoning. We have Yuval. We have Sandro Rocco with Sanzo. We have a bunch. We have BevNet coming up later this year. So a lot of really great guests. So, So DG, someone wants to find your product, just website, store locator, best way, right?
Yeah. The best way is to just go to our website for frozen click delivery options. And you can either get Instacart, GoPuff, DoorDash, Getir, Amazon, Amazon Fresh, but also just, any major grocery store, Whole Foods, Bristol, Gelson's, Erewhon, a lot of regional grocery stores, store locator on the website.
Awesome. All right. Well, we just want to thank, first off, our long-term sponsor, V-Driven. Thank you so much to Dream Pops for sponsoring this episode with product. Wade, I love you. You're the best co-host ever. So
love you,
proud
buddy.
of what we've done here, and really proud of our new name as well. Thank you to everyone for all the support. And DG, thank you for joining us, man, and sharing your story.
Appreciate you, DG.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it, guys. This is a really powerful community, and I really, really am grateful to be a part of it. So
thank you so much.
Awesome. Have a good weekend, guys.
All right. So that's episode 61. Tune back in next week, Friday, 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5:30 Eastern, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Take care.